said also something about Neptune going into Pisces, that it would elevate people's consciousness.
Yes. The upside to this is that you're going to see a resurgence of alternative belief systems become more acceptable, become much more mainstream. Very much what we saw in the 60s, alternative experimental living and communes and communities, and you're going to see all this type of experimentation again. You're going to see this interest again in the in divination,
and
astrology.
Things that are not traditional.
Things that are not traditional. Things that have always been there. You know, this is certainly going to become much more experience. It won't just be something you see in a Dan Brown movie, but it'll be much. You'll start seeing it being discussed on daily talk shows where people are now shifting their beliefs and views in religion. They're going to become much more spiritual. There'll be certainly
less material. When I say less material, I mean that people would probably value their time or their freedom more than a paycheck.
Yes, I mean that's certainly possible.
Like
I mean
those movies, Wall Street, the greed that we saw in the 80s and
yeah,
the 90s.
I believe there's going to be a pushback against that. I think people are going to be very much interested. I see a resurgence in the mystery schools, but it won't be something for the select few. I believe a lot of these type of schools are going to spring up all over the place, and everyone's going to join. It'll be sort of like a resurgence of masonry, but it'll be men and women. Anybody can join who has an open heart and mind to want to discover the secrets that give us a sense of connection and meaning or belonging to something bigger than ourselves. So you're going to see that. Of course, Neptune's going to be in Pisces for a while. It's not going to all happen at once. But you may see a metaphysics channel, a tarot channel, an astrology channel, just like you have a cooking channel. You know, so
Astrology channel.
Yeah, you'll see these type of things, and that's where it becomes more mainstream. And you see talk shows talking more about things like UFOs and other paranormal phenomena. So the paranormal becomes much more mainstream, much more acceptable.
Death.
Life after death. There's going to be a lot more scientific validation of this. You're going to also hear about physicists that are actually seriously talking about the fact that things like remote viewing, which there's statistical evidence for, which the CIA has been using successfully since the 70s. You're going to hear about these things, and the fact that they need a physics now to account for this.
Ah, interesting.
Right? So if there's life after death and things like remote viewing and clairvoyance and telekinesis all exist, we don't have a model of physics, or the current model is insufficient. So you're going to see now a revision in the world of physics, of the realm of the invisible ordering principle that underlies all matter. So you're going to see that be discussed, and it's going to cause a great debate. There may be a breakdown of, I'm sure I'm going to be criticized for this, but the theory of relativity and the various other physics that were established as immutable laws are going to be questioned now. We're going to certainly find that there are particles that do move faster than light, and this is going to really disturb physicists. So you're going to see a lot of this stuff happen.
You want to talk about NASA for a minute?
Sure.
What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think it's just a matter of time before someone at JPL completely discloses about the suppression of data and information and photos of the backside of the moon, of Mars. There is just a massive, there's certainly archaeological evidence with the moon. Certainly they have seen enough stuff on Mars as well. This has been independently verified, but no one officially has come out. So I believe that's going to happen. I think you're going to see much more astronauts who were part of the original moon missions start. Edgar Mitchell was the sixth astronaut on the moon.
Yes.
He has come forward and talked about the real, about UFOs and about the real reason we went to the moon. So you're going to see a lot more of this. Many people within the core of NASA are going to, I believe, start revealing, since they're much older now and they have really nothing left to lose by
disclosing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's part of the Neptune and Pisces.
So is there any kind of advice you want to with people about 2012? I mean, a lot of people say, we have to leave New York, we have to go someplace safe. Well, I say, like, why?
Yeah, I don't believe there's any one particular area that's safer than others. I mean, certainly areas that are prone to tornadoes and typhoons and earthquakes, you may want to think twice about, or at least be prepared for those type of things, more so than ever. We are seeing a proliferation of earthquakes, volcanoes, typhoons, storms. Earth changes, not only in number, but the intensity levels are increasing. Mm-hmm. So the frequency and the intensity is increasing, and the impact they're having is much greater now. So certainly people need to be prepared. They should have at least 30 days of food. They should have some precious metals, such as silver or gold coins, or something where they could use in case dollars were not available, or cash machines were, that could be traded. So, yeah, this needs to be survival courses, survival training is going to become very mainstream.
Very big. Okay. Very big. What about the Mayan prediction? I know you studied it. You want to?
Well, I think one of the things a lot of the astrologers miss is the fact that we had the cardinal climax, where you had 3 or 4 major planets at 0 degrees of the cardinals, pretty within months of a galactic cycle, which is the alignment of the sun with the center of the galaxy, which is a 13,000 year cycle. So within months of one another, they're very close to converging. And so I believe what we're seeing now is a turning point, a paradigm shift, where everything that has defined this civilization up to this point is going to be redefined. And I believe that everything that we thought or we believe we know, we're going to realize will not really hold as we move. So according to the Mayans, this is the beginning of the end of the 4th age, which began 3113 BC. At the time of Quetzalcoatl arrived, established the Mayan civilization, taught them the mathematics, the calendrics, taught them the art, culture, music, writing, left, and according to their prophecy will return at the beginning of the 5th age. According to the Mayans, 1993, somewhere around June of 1993, was the beginning of the 2012 transition from the 4th to the 5th age, and will peak and culminate. So if you look around 1993, what happened? Collapse of the Soviet Union. That was the beginning of the outsourcing. That was the decentralization. You saw NAFTA. You saw the Eurozone. You saw all these things really come together at that time. You saw a consolidation of power and money. So now we're in that transition, and all those things are breaking down. So, again, we're going to see some very, very, what normally would take, and people would say, well, you're right, but this is going to take many, many decades or many, many years. I believe what took decades is just going to happen in mere months. Mm-hmm. And what happened in years is going to happen in weeks. And that's exactly what we're seeing now.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, I think it sounds like we're going to have a lot of activity on every level, and we're going to kind of go through a little crunch, right? A
little crunch, but the good news is things get very spiritual. People want to look for meaning, belonging, connection. They want to have something. You're going to see a lot of people get it very interesting. Jungian therapy or some type of means of reconnecting with their self. There's going to be a lot more talk about the collective unconscious and archetypes, but there'll be different words to it. But the art, there's going to be a proliferation of art. You'll see a lot of what happened in the 60s. It'll be different, but the themes will be similar.
Well, thanks so much for sharing your thoughts on 2012. So for many reasons, 2012 will be a year like no other, right?
Right.
So we hope that you get through the year and have a great time, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.